As the calendar has turned to September, all of our fall programming is well underway. Our Wednesday evening ministry for adults and children, called Common Ground, kicked off with a great meal, and choir is back to practicing. This weekend, our Sunday morning Bible classes resume for both the Maple and the Tyler campus. This Sunday, I will be preaching on the Gospel of Luke. And just to tease the sermon a little bit, it's one of those readings that makes your eyebrows rise up and a gentle but concerned comes from your lips as Jesus talks about who and who cannot be His disciple. I'll save the rest for Sunday at Tyler, or you can take in Pastor Moore's sermon series on spiritual disciplines over at the Maple campus. It's been very good. For our devotion today, I wanted to highlight the epistle reading that will be read this weekend. It's the whole book of Philemon. Now don't panic, it's only 25 verses long, and it was a short letter that St. Paul wrote to a Christian named Philemon. Paul wrote to the slave owner, Philemon, about his runaway slave. And note, Paul does not condemn him for owning another human being, or even scold him for the wrongness of slavery. But that's not to say that he had nothing to say about these two men and their relationship with each other. The slave in question was a man named Onesimus. He had run away from Philemon, which was an illegal act, and it held a very stiff penalty. Philemon was in his legal right to do great harm or even death. But Paul appeals to Philemon, not on the basis of his legal rights, but to his relationship with Jesus. And there's a nice wordplay in the Greek with the name Onesimus that sounds similar to the Greek word for useful. Paul said that Onesimus was useless to him as a runaway slave, but now he has become useful to Paul, and all playing off of his name. Useful not as a slave, but as a fellow follower of Jesus and a fellow slave in service to Christ, which Paul described himself as a slave of Christ. And Paul would remind Philemon that this slave owner, that he owed his very life to Paul and his new life to Jesus. And because Onesimus was now a fellow follower of Jesus, he should receive him back not as a slave, but as a brother in Christ. Slavery would ultimately be banned from modern societies because of the humanity that Jesus gives to all people. We are all created in the image of God, and in Jesus we are all redeemed brothers and sisters. The appeal to do the right thing from St. Paul wasn't made on the basis of its rightness, but on that of love. Receive Onesimus back for love's sake, as a brother. Society, laws, and culture would be transformed from the ancient Roman laws to this new ethic of love that Jesus brought into the world. And this new ethic remains even today because He and His people are in the world. That's you and me. Human rights for all was not in the ancient world. But it did not come from the Greeks or the Romans or any other nation or culture. It came from Jesus, whose kingdom is breaking into this world and will one day come in its complete fullness. Its hallmark or its telltale sign is love, which seeks the good of the neighbor. And Jesus leads us to see that our neighbor is that person right in front of us, no matter who they are, who has a need. Well, with that in mind, blessings on your weekend, and I look forward to seeing you all in Bible study and in worship.